Yeah, I've had a read through, so I know the sort of gist of it.
Yeah, great. Brilliant. So we'll just go, I'll do the Willard part now because they're downstairs going through his lines.
Right.
And you can obviously do yours.
Okay.
And we'll just run through it once, then we'll think about how we can develop it through that.
I have thought about, like you were asking about who it reminds me of and characteristics for you, so we'll talk about them if you need to.
Brilliant, yeah. So let's just go through it. Just start from yours.
From
Yeah, from the beginning.
Hey, Willard. Willard. Come here for a second, please.
What is it, Dad?
I think it's about time we had a talk. Your mother and I were talking today, and we both agree that we...
We what, Dad?
Well, your mother and I believe it's that time. You read me, son?
What do you mean that time? Yeah, go for it.
You know, that time when a boy reaches a certain age.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop trying to beat around the bush. The birds and the bees. The penis and the vagina. You know it.
Which one?
Don't matter, they're all the same.
Well, are the bees the penises, or are they the vaginas?
The bees aren't the penises.
So the penis is the bird?
Well, no, not really.
Well, who are the birds and what are the bees?
Okay. Birds nest. So birds are a metaphor for woman. And you see, the bees, they have stingers.
Like penises?
Yeah, like penises.
So what you're saying is that bees like to sting birds?
No. Okay, forget the birds and the bees.
Why?
They no longer exist, okay?
No birds and no bees? Are there still penises and vaginas?
Yeah, there are still penises and vaginas. You see, when Mummy and Daddy love each other very much, they interconnect with each other. Physically. We, your mother and I, physically connect through our... Okay, let's start over again. You get the basic cable, right?
Yeah.
And you've the internet.
Yeah.
And you went through puberty, what, like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
Have what?
Okay, I wanted to tell you about this when you were like 10, but your mother insisted to wait, so it's all her fault.
What is?
It's awkward conversation.
I don't think it's awkward.
It's because you don't know what I'm trying to say.
Why don't you just tell me flat out what it is you're trying to say?
Listen, if you're going to tap it, wrap it. Get it? Got it? Good.
Brilliant, love it. You've gone through exactly how I wanted it. Some extra points as we get to the hand motioning stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, as you obviously know, it's not a Fred isn't a very confident person at speaking about this sort of stuff. So maybe he fully goes for the example and then realises what he's doing. It's like, this is not the way to do it. Because you can see, obviously, Willard won't. He'll just be sat there like, what is going on? But apart from that, it was brilliant. That was exactly how I wanted you to do it. Cool. So should we go through sort of your the people that you knew that are like similar to this?
So first one, obviously, my old man. He will not. But the thing with my dad, he's a typical Yorkshire bloke. In that this conversation will never happen. This conversation will even now. If I was like, right, I don't have any children, right, and that's nothing to do with that. It's just the way my life's gone. But if I went home and was like, my girlfriend's pregnant, and I don't know how, my dad would go like, not my dad. Not my talk to your mum, and he's very much talk to your mum type. So, and he's also of that this is your mum's fault kind of mentality. So that's the first thing. Whereas my mate, Tony, his dad is brilliant because his dad will tell him like all kinds of life stuff, but he's just so embarrassed as he's going through every conversation. Like he's got an air of Jim's dad from American Pie.
Yes.
Like he really wants to help, but he's just like Jim's dad. I mean, to be honest, Jim's dad's lovable. He's brilliant. But,
so innocent.
yeah, and and my mate Tony's dad's a lot like that, but not as capable of getting the word. I mean, obviously Jim's dad had to for the sake of the script.
Yeah.
He's not as capable of getting the words out, so he'll sort of be like, no, we don't know that.
So have you sort of combined the two then?
So the two, you put the two together and you've got what I would say is Fred, who's, it's like she's your mother's doing and doesn't really want her to be there, and Tony's dad who does want to do it but doesn't know how.
Do you think then, as a backstory, do you think that he's been told by his wife to sort of just go in there? He's 21 years old now, he's got to...
I almost feel like they've found a condom, or he talked to that girlfriend or something has happened where they've gone, shit, we need to have this conversation. And they're panicking because it's like, they didn't do it 10 years ago, so obviously they know what happens, but they don't know that he knows.
Yeah.
And they can sort of picture him. They can sort of picture him in this situation where he's like, I didn't know this was going to happen. And and also, I also get a sense of that they don't want to be grandparents either. Because that, like, it's not even about him anymore, it's a little bit, there's an element with Fred is like, look, I'm not old for a start, and I'm not ready to be dealing with nappies again. There's an element of that.
Yeah.
So.
How do you think Fred has dealt with his son throughout his life? Do you think it's always been this awkward to talk to him? Do you think he's never connected? How are you feeling through that?
Again, using my dad as an example, it would be like football. We can talk football.
Yeah.
We can stick the cricket on and talk about that. We can have a beer and talk about beer. And then anything else is mum's job. We won't talk about life. So I get the feeling it's a bit of like, if ever something life comes up, Dad will either leave the room, Fred will leave the room, or he'll pick up his paper and be like, not listening, that can go whenever.
Brilliant, I love that, so. Perfect. Would you like to try it one more time or add some more
into
it? We'll do it one more and then we'll go through like a movement run through and see how it works with that. You have to excuse my bad acting.
Don't worry, excuse mine. Hey, Willard, come here for a second, please.
What is it, Dad?
I think it's about time we had a talk. Your mother and I were talking, and we both agree that
What, Dad?
Well, your mother and I believe it's that time. You read me, son?
What do you mean that time?
You know, that time when a boy reaches a certain age.
Yeah?
Okay, I'm going to stop trying to beat around the bush. The birds and the bees. Penis and the vagina. You know it.
Oh, which one?
Doesn't matter, they're all the same.
Well, are the bees the penises, or are they the vaginas?
The bees aren't the penises.
So the penis is the bird?
Well, no. Not really.
Well, who are the birds and what are the bees?
Okay. Birds nest. So birds are a metaphor for woman, and you see the bees, well, they have stingers.
Like penises?
Yeah, like penises.
So what you're saying is bees like stinging birds?
No. Okay. Forget the birds and the bees.
Why?
They no longer exist, okay?
No birds and no bees? Are there still penis eyes and vagina eyes?
Yeah, there are still penises and vaginas. You see, when a mummy and daddy love each other very much, they interconnect with each other physically. Your mother and I, physically connect through our... Okay, let's start over again. You got the basic cable, right?
Yes.
And you have the internet.
Yes.
And you went through puberty, what, like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
Of what?
Okay, I wanted to tell you about this when you were like 10. But your mother insisted I wait, so this is all her fault.
What is?
This awkward conversation.
I don't think it's awkward.
Because you don't know what I'm trying to say.
Why don't you just tell me flat out what you're trying to say?
Listen, if you're going to tap it, wrap it. Get it? Got it? Good.
Nice. Brilliant. That ending bit's going to really add to it when he opens the paper, just like, that's it, I'm done, you know it, we've got it now, we're finished.
That's the end of that. Everything's fine. But there was a trigger, that was the trigger with that. So either something like that, or they've seen something on TV, or they've been with friends at a dinner and friends have gone, oh, we had to have to talk with our
Yeah,
kids.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's like, and their kid's like 9 or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, shit.
We've got 21
We've
year
got
olds.
21 year olds, we've never done that. Better keep up with the Joneses, haven't we?
Still living at home.
So yeah, there's like I feel that will be a nice little trigger because there's two layers to that. There's like the embarrassment of not having kept up with the Joneses,
Yeah.
and the embarrassment of the 21-year-old son that's not.
Yes, I like
Clued
that.
up.
So we use that within the script and to try and develop Fred as a person. Should we try out just setting up a little bit of an area and have it fully run through it?
Sure.
We'll get you some pretend paper. Just,
Hey, Willard. Willard, come here for a second, please.
what is it, Dad?
Your mother and I were talking, and we both agree that
We what, Dad?
well, your mother and I believe it's that time. You're reading something.
What do you mean that time?
You know, that time when a boy reaches a certain age.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop trying to beat around the bush. Birds and bees, pigs and each. You know,
Which one?
doesn't matter, they're all the same.
Well, are the bees the penises or are they the vaginas?
The bees aren't penises.
So the penises of the birds.
Well, no, not really.
Well, who are the birds and who are the bees?
Okay, birds, nest. So birds are metaphor for one. And you see, the bees, they have stingers.
Like penises.
Yeah, like penises.
So what you're saying is that bees like to sting birds?
No. Okay, forget the birds and the bees.
Why?
They no longer exist, okay?
They know no birds and no bees. Are there still penises and vaginas?
Yes, there are still penises and vaginas. You see, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much, they interconnect with each other physically. We, your mother and I, physically connect through our okay, let's start over again. You got a basic cable, right?
Yeah.
And you have the internet.
Yeah.
And you went through puberty, what, like 10 years ago?
Yes.
Well, there you have it.
You have what?
Okay, I wanted to tell you this when you were like 10, but your mother and sister are away, so this is all their fault.
What is?
This awkward conversation.
I don't think it's awkward.
That's because you don't know what I'm trying to say.
Well, why don't you just tell me flat out what you're trying to say?
Listen, if you're going to tap it, wrap it. Get it? Got it?
A bit later on. No birds and no bees. Are there still penises and vaginas? So that line for me was quite telling, and it's that kind of seeds through everything. So because of that, if you come at it from that angle, you then start to see the guy in a different light. Where so for me, I see him as mid-20s, maybe recently graduated from uni. He's living at home, sort of wondering why all this. Living at home, you know, during the daytime, so perhaps it's a weekend or perhaps he's looking for a job. He's playing PlayStation. I'm on my way back to playing the PlayStation. So this starts off as quite. What is this? I think it starts off a little bit sort of less empathetic, a bit more. What does he want now? A bit more sort of teenagery. I want to get back to my PlayStation. But then when he starts to sort of realise how awkward the conversation is for his dad, I think he instantly sees the funny side of it. This has come out of nowhere. He just wasn't ready for this. So, and I think the fact that his dad is on the back foot, I think he enjoys. I think they probably have quite a playful. I think they have a good relationship, him and his dad.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. I never like playing nasty people if I can afford to, because I think it's very easy. I think it's a very quick thing to go to. So I think they have. I think basically his dad's a bit of a dinosaur, and he isn't. But he knows that, and he just knows that that's what his dad is. He just knows that it's a generation thing. So I think because his dad won't see the humour in the awkwardness, but he will. And so I just imagine Willard then instantly tweeting about it or messaging his friends, or I don't know, Snapchatting them maybe. I don't have Snapchat, so that's why I say it like that. Snapchatting them, just sort of saying how awkward this was. But not in a, my dad is such an idiot, but just enjoying that how, you know, it's like something you'd see in a film. It's like something you'd see on TV. This is how this just came out of nowhere, and it was really awkward. And it's the kind of thing that they joke about over the pub. No birds and no bees. Are there still penises and vaginas?
Yes, they're still penises and vaginas. You see, when a mommy and daddy love each other very much, they interconnect with each other physically. Your mother and I, physically connect through our... Okay, let's start over again. You've got basic cable, right?
Yeah.
And you have the internet.
Yes.
And you went through puberty like 10 years ago?
Yes.
Well, there you have it.
Have what?
Okay, I wanted to tell you this about 10 years ago. No, sorry. I wanted to tell you about this when you were like 10. But your mother and I insisted we wait. Your mother insisted I wait. So this is all her fault.
What is?
This awkward conversation.
I don't think it's awkward.
It's because you don't know what I'm trying to say.
Why don't you just flat out tell me what it is you're trying to say?
Listen, if you're going to get it, if you're going to tap it, wrap it. Get it, good. It's that way.
It's different, isn't it?
It is different. It's quite a lot.
It's much more. It's a lot younger. It's a lot more innocent that way. The only problem is with that way is
it's quite unrealistic.
It is, but you know, it's not impossible. You know, you can. It's, you know, this is. I've seen weirder things. Basically, I've seen weirder short films where, you know, as long as you just suspend the disbelief of what is normal. All you have to do is basically change what the conversation is. So instead of it being about sex, you have it about changing a tyre or changing a battery in a car. Because not everyone knows how to do that. We could probably find somebody in the corridor and they wouldn't know how to change a battery in a car. Exactly. So this conversation is that, but to somebody else it's really obvious. It just so happens that the birds and the bees, because sex is a much more open thing as opposed to changing a tyre in a car, it's a lot easier. However, in another world, no one talks about sex. It's something that's done behind closed doors, and everyone knows how to change a tyre in a car because we live in a world where car tyres only last 2 days. That's what you got to do. If you change the parameters, then it makes more sense. So yeah, you know, either is completely up to you. Depends which version you like. The problem is, I mean, he asks about cable. Yes. But the problem is that the very end of it, 5 and 6, I've sort of broken it down into different sections. Section 5 into section 6 at the very end, that kind of leads you to sort of think
that they can't live in this.
That they can't because they've got cable, have the internet. So he's almost like, Fred is almost then sort of saying, come on, you've got the internet though, haven't you? Yeah. and you come on, puberty, so you've watched porn, right?
Yeah.
So the problem is, if it stopped there, you could get away with it, but because we then introduced the idea that we do have the internet, you then get even more slightly far-fetched that this boy has had access to the internet
Still not.
since the age of, for what, 15 is what, puberty's 14, 15, I'm
Yeah.
25, so I have 10 years of the internet, and I've not once been interested in anything like that on the
But
web.
then you could say that he's never even heard of it. Like it's,
Yeah.
if you're not looking for it, it's not
Yeah.
openly there to you, I guess.
If all I do is play, FIFA, and
Yeah.
I'm really happy with whatever that is,
Yeah.
then yeah, it's
Yeah.
possible.
That's what
It's
it is.
completely up to you.
Yeah.
But again, either with that way, I don't think there's a maliciousness to it. I think
No.
it's either playful or it's
Or-
straight up naive.
Not clear what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can actually still get, and you can get a mix of the two in actually. You could actually stay with this line. So say like, I don't know, 0 is the first one we did, and that one was 10. You could merge it slightly and sort of hit like a 6 or a 7 in the middle, where it is naive, but the way you deliver it still has a comedy element. So I'm not playing the comedy.
Yeah.
So I'm not playing it knowing that it will get a laugh if somebody was watching it.
Okay.
But it's a tricky one. So okay, how do you phrase it? So some people, when they're talking, they talk to another person as though they've got an audience. Because
Yeah.
they want to create a laugh. Even though the other person's not going to find it funny,
Yeah.
they know that if I deliver it this way,
Someone.
it's quite funny to myself. Now, obviously there's a camera involved, so I'm not talking about playing up to the camera. I'm just talking about being a person that is playing up a situation in their own head because it's more funny that way. You could play it quite naive, but still, for the camera's benefit, make it comical in a certain aspect. So you could actually mix the two.
Okay. Should I go that way around?
Can do.
Just going to check the camera for a second, please.
What is it, Dad?
I think it's about time we had the talk. Your mother and I were talking today, and we both agree that
We what, Dad?
well, your mother and I believe that it's time. It's that time. You read me, Sam?
What do you mean that time?
You know, that time when a boy reaches a certain age.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to stop trying to beat around the bush. The birds and the bees, the penises and the vaginas. You know it?
Which one?
It doesn't matter. They're all the same.
Are the bees the penises or are they the vaginas?
Bees aren't the penises.
So the penis is the bird?
No, not really.
Well, then who are the birds and what are the penises? Or the bees, rather. Who are the birds and what are the bees?
Okay, birds nest. So birds are a metaphor for women. And you see the bees, they have stings.
Like penises?
Yeah, like penises.
So what you're saying is the birds like to sting... What you're saying is the bees like to sting the birds?
No. Okay, forget the birds and the bees.
Well, why?
They no longer exist, okay?
No birds, no bees. Are there still penises and vaginas?
Yes, there's still penises and vaginas. So you see, when a mummy and daddy love each other very much, they interconnect with each other. Physically. Your mother and I, physically connect through our... Okay, let's start over again. You've got basic cable, right?
Yeah.
And you have the internet.
Yep.
And you went through puberty, what, like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
Have what?
Okay, I wanted to tell you about this when you were like 10, but your mother insisted I wait, so this is all her fault.
What is?
This awkward conversation.
I don't think it's awkward.
It's because you don't know what I'm talking about.
Why don't you flat out tell me it is what you're trying to say?
Listen, if you're going to tap it, wrap it. Get it? That's it. Good. I like that one too. This is really difficult. Because they're all really interesting ways to play it. There's all really different axes, all the different axes you can spin it on.
And also you are going to get Fred
Who comes into the
will be
mix.
different as well. For
Yeah.
example, Fred could come in and actually be quite aggressive with it
Yeah.
and get quite agitated quite quickly,
Yeah.
which would change things. So a lot of it depends on what the other guy will bring,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
guess is what Hannah will have a chat with.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to have a look at ideas I brought for costume?
Yeah,
How's that
yeah,
change?
they're awesome.
And I brought
Oh,
slippers.
Slippers. I didn't think of slippers.
Because you could be at home. So animal t-shirt we talked about,
Yeah, perfect.
Pokemon t-shirt.
Nice.
So then I kind of went down a pyjama idea. So then
Yeah.
if he's at home from uni in
It is.
pyjamas and needs to look quite young, someone walking around in their slippers that and those pyjamas would look. You've then got shorts, sort of colourful shorts, more basic beigey shorts. Sandals.
Nice, yeah. I like those as well. I like.
So you've got, and basically, and what you'll get is you'll get different people from the different elements of clothing.
Yeah.
If you've got, for example, so if you did, for example, the smart jeans with the black t-shirt, you then get sort of a more older teenage boy,
Yeah.
young adult.
It's easy to play.
Easier to play. If you get, like I said, the Pokemon with the Breaking Bad pajamas, you then get a student living at home, and because also you've got the colour as well. But then if you get the Pokemon with the beigey trousers,
Yeah, I quite like this combo here going on.
yeah, then you've got again sort of young at heart
Yeah.
at home,
Bit of a man child that
bit
though.
of a man child, and then if you want, you add the hoodie on top,
Yeah.
just to kind of put that youth onto it again.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
Yeah, definitely. I like this combo, and I like the idea with the hoodie on top as well.
okay,
What do you think?
that's fine.
Yeah.
It's whatever you want.
Brilliant. Okay.
Okay, so if we go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the idea of pyjamas as well. If I should put pyjama bottom.
I barely even wear them. I got them for Christmas a while ago.
They're really cool.
Yeah. I don't tend to wear pajamas. I don't understand why people buy them for me.
I don't buy socks, and people always buy socks for
It's
Christmas.
weird, isn't it? Isn't it weird?
It's just-
But I think if you go for pajamas, you need to go with the
the
sandals.
slippers, yeah.
Because sandals is a bit odd,
Yeah, definitely.
unless you just happen to be wearing them around the house. I mean, how many takes do you do?
It takes for the.
How many actual things do you present? Because I could do one, change, and then do the other.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea
You
actually.
can actually,
Yeah,
there's no
do that
reason why
then.
you can't. So, for example, we could do, what would be more, so that would sort of lead to be more, that would be more of the naive one.
Yeah.
And then the poking fun,
Yeah,
just
with that.
change it up maybe.
Yeah,
You've got poking fun and genuine naivety.
yeah. And we can play it both ways and see which one works.
No, they're more sloppy.
Yeah, they're slightly off. That's not what I'm trying to say, but yeah. Okay, let's try that then. When we come back from lunch, we can try both of them.
Sure.
What do you think? Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Actually, the only other idea potentially is
Yeah.
if you have the hoodie more with the taking the mick, and then this more kind of sort of knitted, youthful. That's a bit more straight laced with the
Shorts.
with the shorts.
Yeah.
Probably should lose the t-shirt then though. You lose the Pokemon t-shirt.
Yeah. We can go both ways. When you put them on,
Yeah.
we'll yeah.
Well,
we'll
I'll leave those there.
let's see which one works.
Where are we
Because I
actually
do-
Where are we actually filming?
Just downstairs.
Okay, so I can leave that there.
Yeah, you can leave that in. We're going, we've got the 3 till 1, and then we'll just take everything with us and leave it in the studio.
Cool.
Okay, so we have talked a bit about backstory, which is
Yep.
good. There was another way I wanted to do it. I wanted to have a go with like emotional recall.
Yeah.
So like, have you ever had the talk, a talk with your dad?
I have. So
Really
it was.
awkward.
It was. The problem is, it wasn't that awkward, and I am to this day. I'm quite amazed and surprised that it wasn't that awkward. I think I was in my kitchen. We were in the kitchen at home, and I think it was after school one day. I remember Dad and Mum were both in the kitchen, and I don't know how it cropped up. I don't know how it came about. I think I knew bits. I knew basics. I knew that. What did I know? I knew that there had to be an action between a man and a woman. I just didn't quite understand what that action was. I knew, for example, that I knew from quite a young age, actually, that women had vaginas and had, in theory, therefore, more holes, to put it bluntly, than a guy. And I knew the fact that we had dicks, and I knew that women didn't. So I put 2 and 2 together and knew there must be a thing there. But I didn't necessarily.
Okay, so me and Hannah decided that we were going to do an exercise. So with you and with Jim, and then put them together afterwards. So if you can think of five of your friends or 5 people that you know that are like your character Willard, and take 5 traits from each of those people.
Yeah.
1 trait from each of those people. Sorry, and the I've not explained this very well. The 5 traits that you think Willard would benefit from having.
5 traits. Okay, let's have a think. So, there has to be a naiveness to it. There has to be a naive element to it. So if we're playing it this way, you need a naive idea. Let's have a think. So, there can be quite a. I think there's quite a subtle charm with somebody that's naive.
Yeah.
So I think people that are naive are often quite polite.
Yeah.
They're often a little bit quieter. You don't tend to get loud people that are naive. You can get loud people that are naive, but you tend to, if you're having a conversation about something and someone is aware they don't know what the answer is, they don't tend to try and bullshit you unless they're feeling brave. So they tend to sort of go quieter and more, they listen more than they say. So I think there's a trait there, there's certainly quite a charming trait, there's a trait there there's a patient trait. I'm trying to think of people that actually do this. I'm trying to think of anybody that I know that's quite naive.
I guess young people are more naive than.
Yeah, so
and you get mouthy kids, and you think actually you don't know anything.
Yeah. So I know a couple of younger actors, sort of they're 18 and 19, and when you're talking about acting to them, you're talking about directors, or you're talking, if they're sort of saying, I haven't had any work recently, and you say, well, have you got in touch with such and such a person at this theatre, and they go, no. Because they don't know who that is, and then they kind of feel like, oh crap, I should be doing that. Yeah. So instantly they're on the back foot. So that's that kind of naive, we're talking about something that I don't quite understand thing. So then you have that, so yeah, there's that charm, there's a politeness, there's a listening quality, so they're a good listener. But then again, because there's a little element of comedy in here, you then start to have a think, you know what it is, I'm getting, it reminds me quite a lot of, I forget the guy's name, Friday Night Dinner and The In-Betweeners. Chat with the one in between with glasses and black curly hair.
He's hilarious.
And then so I can imagine him doing a script like this, and just sort of because he does lots of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Weird. So he does a lot of sort of head action and a lot of sort of words to himself that people can hear. No, that's not a good idea. No, we'll do that then. Brilliant. So everyone can hear him saying it, but he's saying it to himself for the comic value. So there's an element of here, especially in that, I think that line that we keep coming back to, no birds and no bees, are there still penises and vaginas? Are there still penises and vaginas? Are we still doing this? And then the 3 yeses. Have you got cable? Yes. Internet? Yes. And you've been puberty, 10 years? Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I can see him in there.
There's like a little Ricky Gervais element to it as well. So there's a combination there. There's the combination, but again, it's very easy. If you're playing the comedy value, it's a very, very, very slippery slope of playing the comedy element, but then making it all about him and making his reactions funny. So you've got to get that balance between it being naive, polite, listening, but then it being a little bit playful in terms of not wanting the conversation to end necessarily. So. Yeah, so it all depends on how we play it. It all depends on which version of Willard we go. But there's definitely traits that I can see in there from a younger generation that I know of in terms of their comic timing, actually, from that point of view. I'm trying to think what else there would be. And there's an intelligence to him as well. He does know about birds and bees, and he's not afraid to say the words penises and vaginas.
Yeah.
So he's not shy from that point of view. Now, you either take that in, I'm not shy because I'm trying to embarrass my dad, or I'm not shy just because...
no idea.
Yeah, or because I've no idea. I'm not aware that this is... Because actually there's 3. You could actually do... I'm trying to humiliate my dad, I'm trying to embarrass my dad because this is funny. I'm not aware, so I'm being quite naive, so I'm not aware that saying the words penises and vaginas isn't common. Or I'm actually a bit older than my age, and actually they're just words, and I don't mind saying penises and vaginas. because that's what they are.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk about something, that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, there's a film that I watched a while ago where there's this young boy and his mum has taught him all the right words for everything. So he's in nursery and he's talking about his cranium, he's talking about cubes and stuff. And these kids are like...
What are you talking about?
But
I think there's a lot to be said for doing that with young kids.
Yeah.
I think. So basically what I do is when I get a script, I block it up into units and objectives.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've got 6 units basically out of this script. It starts off with the very, very beginning, and it's only 2 lines long, the first one. So the first unit for me starts when the scene starts. The first unit ends when Willard's dad says, so when I say to Dad, what is it, Dad? And that unit is simple labelled what now? Because for me my objective is to go back to the PlayStation. I've gone somewhere, I'm now returning to the PlayStation. My objective is to get back to the PlayStation and play it. My dad interrupts me, so my dad then becomes a barrier, and I then have to overcome the barrier by appeasing him. So he says, come here, he stops me from doing what I want to do, hence why, what is it, Dad? My dad then comes in, I think it's time we had that talk, so this second unit for me starts with just before that, so it's in between what is it, Dad, and I think it's time we had that talk. So I've got this as unit 2. This unit is labelled that time ? And it's all this kind of, in this unit we're just talking about that time, that chat, that moment. Yeah. So my objective here is to sort of get out of him what he wants as quickly as I can, so I can go back to PlayStation. So I don't know at this stage that this is going to be quite funny. I'm not quite sure what he's on about.
Yeah.
Unit 3 then begins with the whole birds and the bees, and I simply called it birds and bees.
Yeah.
So at this point I'm now kind of seeing that, okay, so at this point I don't mind not going back to my PlayStation because I'm going to have a bit of fun here. That game's paused. Yeah, I'm going to go and play it, but actually I don't mind just standing in the corridor, standing in the lounge, standing in the kitchen with my drink, whatever I just got from the fridge. I don't mind having this bit of fun, because this is going to be fun when I then text or tweet or whoever. You know, when I then tell my friends back at uni, you'll never guess what happened a few miles away. So that's unit 3. And then after that, the objective is kind of the same. It's just to kind of see how far I can push it without embarrassing or actually humiliating him or annoying. If I saw my dad generally getting worked up, I think I would take a step back. I don't think I'd push it that hard.
Hey Willard, come here for a second, please.
What is it, Dad?
I think it's about time we had a talk. Your mother and I were talking today, and we both agree that we...
That we what, Dad?
Well, your mother and I believe it's that time... You read me some?
What do you mean, that time?
You know, that time when a boy reaches a certain age.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to stop trying to beat around the bush. The birds and the bees, the penises and the vaginas. You know it?
Which one?
Doesn't matter, they're all the same.
Well, are the bees the penises or are they the vaginas?
The bees aren't the penises.
So the penis is the bird?
Well, no, not really.
Well, okay, so who are the birds and who are the penises?
Okay, birds. Bird's nest. So... they're a metaphor for women, and you see the bees, they have stingers.
Like penises, huh?
Yeah, like penises.
So what you're saying is that bees like to sting the birds?
No, okay. Forget the birds and the bees.
Wait, okay, why?
They no longer exist, okay?
Okay, no birds and no penises.
I'm sorry.
Are there still penises and vaginas though?
Yes. There are still penises and vaginas.
Okay.
You see, when our mummy and daddy love each other very much, they interconnect with each other. Physically, your mother and I, physically connect through our... Okay, let's start again. You've got basic cable, right?
Yeah.
And you have the internet.
Yeah.
And you went through puberty, what, like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
Have what?
Okay, I wanted to tell you this about... I wanted this when you were like 10. But your mother insisted that I wait, so this is all her fault.
What is?
This awkward conversation.
I don't think it's awkward.
That's because you don't know what I'm trying to say.
Why don't you just flat out tell me what you're trying to say?
Listen, if you're going to tap it, wrap it. Get it? Got it? Good. I like it that way.
It would.
Mm-hmm.
Look, come here for a minute, please.
Who's it up?
I think it's time that we had a talk. Your mother and I, we think it's time. Look, you know, when a boy gets to a certain age,
Yeah.
you read me, son?
How do you mean that time?
When a boy, a young man, gets to a certain age,
Yeah.
are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop beating around the bush. The birds and the bees. You know what I mean? The penises and the vaginas.
Which one?
Well, it don't matter, they're all the same, aren't they?
Well, no. Are the bees the penises or are they the vaginas?
Well, no, the bees aren't penises.
Ah, so the birds are the penises.
No, look, the birds aren't. Right, okay. Don't worry too much about what the birds and the bees. Right, here's the thing. You see, what happens, right, is birds and bees, they don't have that much to do with this. Birds, for example, well, they nest. So that is kind of like a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas bees,
Mm-hmm.
they are stingers.
So what you're saying is the bees like to sting the birds.
Oh no, don't do that. No, that's not what. Right. Like boys and girls. Remember that girl that was in your class? Was she Stacey? Was it? Remember when you still
Stacey.
all
Yeah.
friends?
We are.
We still good. She's nice. Yes. So when a mum and daddy love each other very much,
Yeah.
they like to interconnect
Mm.
physically.
Mm.
Your mother and I, for example, back in the day, we used to like to physically.
Mm.
See what I'm getting at? My point is here. What I'm trying to tell you. Well, let's start. Here's where we're at. Right. So you've got you know, the starter cable, yeah,
Yeah.
and you have the internet.
Yeah. Yes, I do have the internet. Yes, I do.
So there you have it.
Have what?
Look, I wanted to have this chat to you when you were, you know, an infant and you couldn't answer back. You know, when you were like 10 or something. But your mother said she'd wait, so this is her fault, really.
What is?
What is awkward conversation?
This isn't awkward. This is great.
That's because you don't know what I'm trying.
All right. Why don't you try and tell me what you're trying to tell me as simple and straightforward as you possibly can?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to tap it, wrap it.
No, okay, no.
Susan, you ready for rankings?